I sat in that cold waiting room for my daughter's job interview, but what I saw that day broke something inside me. A young girl was being humiliated in front of everyone. And I couldn't look away. The single dad speaking these words, Mark Henderson, didn't come to the company that day expecting to change a stranger's life. He was just there to support his daughter, Lily, for her big interview at one of the top firms in the city. Lily was a recent graduate, brilliant, kind, a little nervous but full of potential. Mark, who had raised her alone after losing his wife to cancer a decade ago, always made it a point to be present in the moments that mattered. Mark arrived early that morning. The waiting area outside the HR offices was sterile, white walls, artificial plants, the occasional flickering ceiling light. He settled into a hard chair and gave Lily a reassuring smile as she stepped inside the interview room. He then noticed a young woman sitting across from him, maybe 22 or 23, her clothes modest, her hands trembling slightly as she clutched a folder to her chest. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Her name tag read Sanaa Malik. 5 minutes later, she was called in after Lily. Mark leaned back, scrolling his phone absent-mindedly, until raised voices from inside the interview room made him look up. It started small, snide comments drifting through the glass door. A man's voice, mocking, arrogant. "Did you even read the job description, or are you just hoping for charity?" Then a woman laughed cruelly. "Sweetheart, this isn't a charity shelter. We're looking for professionals, not, whatever this is." Mark straightened. He didn't want to jump to conclusions, but something didn't sit right. Through the frosted glass, he could make out Sanaa's silhouette shrinking with every passing second. She barely got a word in. They didn't ask her questions. They didn't give her a chance. They belittled her for her accent, her clothes, and even the outdated laptop she had brought. And yet, Sanaa never raised her voice. She didn't cry. She answered with dignity, though her voice cracked once or twice. When she came out, she looked shattered but determined not to show it. The receptionist didn't meet her eyes. The other candidates looked away. But Mark did not. As she walked past him, he stood up. "Excuse me," he said gently. "Would you mind if I asked how it went?" Sanaa tried to smile. "It was, okay. Thank you." But her eyes couldn't lie. Mark hesitated. "They had no right to treat you that way." That's when the dam broke. Her eyes welled up, and she looked down at her scuffed shoes. "I've been to 8 interviews this month. I walked 2 hours to get here. I couldn't afford the bus. And every single time, they look at me like I don't belong." She apologized and rushed out the door. Mark stood frozen for a second. Then, without fully understanding why, he followed her. Outside, the sky had turned cloudy. Sanaa was walking quickly down the street, wiping her eyes with her sleeve. "Wait!" Mark called. She turned, startled. "I'm sorry," he said, catching up. I don't know you. But you remind me of someone. My daughter. She's in there now, doing her interview. But 10 years ago, I saw my wife go through something similar. She was an immigrant too, bright, capable, but always dismissed." Sanaa nodded slowly. "I didn't expect kindness today." "Thank you." Mark paused. "What do you do, actually?" "Your field?" "I studied data analytics. I worked at a small firm for 2 years, but it shut down during COVID. Since then, I've been freelancing, cleaning, tutoring, anything I can get." She spoke with quiet strength. Not bitterness, just honesty. Mark gave her his card. "I run a small business consultancy. It's nothing fancy, but we're growing. I don't have an open position right now, but would you be open to freelancing on a project? Just to get started?" Her eyes widened. Are you serious? I don't offer handouts. Just chances. You've got grit, I saw that. That matters. Sanaa blinked back tears. I'd be honored. 2 months later, Sanaa was working full-time with Mark's team. She had not only proven herself but transformed a major client account by uncovering patterns in their data that saved them thousands. She wasn't just good, she was exceptional. One day, Mark invited her and Lily to lunch. You know, he said as they shared stories over coffee, I sat in that waiting room thinking I was there to support my daughter. But God had other plans. Lily smiled. You helped her when no one else would. Sanaa looked down, her voice soft. You didn't just help me. You reminded me I was worth more than how they made me feel. Mark leaned back, pride in his eyes. That's what the world forgets sometimes. The quiet ones. The underestimated. But strength isn't always loud. Sometimes, it walks in tired shoes, with a cracked voice, and still shows up. The story ends with Sanaa now mentoring other young women through a community initiative she started with Lily's help. The office that once tore her down faded in her memory, not because she forgot, but because she rose above it. And Mark? He never missed a chance to sit in a waiting room again. Because sometimes, the person sitting outside isn't just a spectator. Sometimes, they're the one who changes everything. Moral of the story. Kindness isn't weakness. Courage doesn't always shout. And second chances? They're the seeds of miracles. Seedling. Would you like me to now create